Calm Down with Erin and Charissa is a production of iHeartRadio.
Hey now. You know what? We said this podcast was about, 90% things that weren't sports, 10% sports. Well, this is a time where it's 10% sports because it's March, baby. You and I the other night were together watching. So much fun. We had some margs. We had a lot of margs. We were doing cameos. This one's a beast, by the way. If you ever want to call Erin on Cameo, she leaves that thing on. She left her Cameo call on. She goes, I'm running to the bathroom. I'll be right back. I go, oh my God, what do I do if they call? She's like, just wait. I'll be right back. I'm like, I felt like it was Audrey in Christmas Vacation where they're like, oh, and Dad said I was going to the bathroom. All right. But we were together because we were watching the tournament. Erin, you and I both had teams in the tournament. Your team's always in the tournament. I went to UCSB, go Gauchos. So I'm not really there a lot. So I get really excited. I ate shit on that bet because they lost to Creighton in the last minute. You also didn't fare very well. What happened to your squad?
Well, before we get to that upset, let's talk about, was that Friday night? Yeah, that was Friday night. Great night. Afternoon, we started putting on the games. We popped a couple beers and we were like, we're going to make it was a fun day. It kind of felt like the old times, you know? But then it all came to a crashing halt when we got home and you saw that Syracuse upset. Who did they upset? I'm looking at it was a long weekend.
San Diego State, I had in my Final Four. Why? Because I was willing to take chances. Unlike you, who just wants the safe bet, I take chances, Erin. My Final Four is embarrassing if I look at it now. Two of my teams are out. Now Kansas is out because they ate shit to USC. But it wasn't good. I was in a real state. So then I just kept chugging the cocktails.
I'm sitting here looking at the brackets as we speak. That's right. And what did you say when you got so mad that you had your 6th seed going to the Final Four? I said, dude, it's Jim Boeheim. You're not betting against Jim Boeheim. And hold on, because I can't get enough of this story. Buddy Boeheim, his son. I mean, I was adorable because when I covered college hoops, he was a nugget. And, somebody said it perfectly. Jim Boeheim, is in his 70s. And they said, would Jim Boeheim think in 20 years ago, he'd still be in his 70s, still coaching at Syracuse, and his son, Buddy, is like totally leading him down the path here in the tournament. It's freaking awesome. I love the Loyola story. I felt bad for Illinois. Hello, Big Ten. What happened there?
Jeez.
And then, what happened to the Florida Gators? I got cocky. I'll be honest. I got cocky. I have my superstitions, and I'm sitting here looking at this bracket. I was really nervous about the whole thing. Florida's been through so much. They have been through so much this year, but I started feeling good about it. Second half felt good. Had some of my my girlfriends over who were all in the same bubble. We're being safe. And then we went to dinner, and next thing I know, I looked over and I said, oh my God, they lost. And my other girlfriend, Jackie, who loves a good bet situation, she looked and said, no, they didn't. They ruined my night. Ruined my night. I was sad. I feel bad for the Gators, but great story for Oral Roberts, number 15, upsetting a 7 seed. This thing has been insane.
How about this, Erin? The Sweet 16 has 4 teams that are double-digit seeds. That's awesome. That's what this thing is all about. I was sad, UCSB, like I had mentioned, I was excited they were in the tournament because, well, they're not there a lot. And we don't have a football team and we don't really have a lot of, our soccer team used to be pretty decent. But when you get to the tournament and they were like panning to like the coach's wife in the stands and she was celebrating. And then 2 seconds left on the clock and they end up losing to Creighton. But anyways, Cinderella stories. You've got Loyola Chicago in there. You got Oregon State in there. So there's a lot of good stories. But this is where again, when you, as a gambler, if you lose money, because I told you, scared money don't make money. If you get down, you got to start chasing. Now, again, if you have a gambling problem,
what does that mean?
Call a 1-800 number. I am not here to give disclaimers. Don't spend money you don't have. That's another one of my rules. You start chasing, meaning like, you know that you're in the red. So you like double down on things. So for me, I'm now going, this is what I'm looking at. You're looking at brackets. I'm looking at spreads, sister. This is the difference between you and I. So Gonzaga, easy money against Creighton because they're a double-digit favorite, meaning that they're going to win by 10 plus points or more, according to the Vegas odds makers. Also, Arkansas and Oral Roberts. That's the only 2 games that have a double-digit spread. All the other games are 6.5 points or less. What does that mean? It means that your team has to win by at least 7 points. I lost you. I lost her.
It's too many numbers. It blows my mind how Joe
enough.
Blow off the street can handle all that information. I'm pretty good with numbers, but like, I don't think I'm that dumb, but there's a lot of people.
Sis, it's not even hard. All you're saying is whatever team has the negative 6.5 is the better team. So they have to give up 6.5 points to make it even. Everyone has to start at 0.
Why is it 6.5?
Well, it just depends on like how good the team is. That's why I'm saying, like, for example, like if you and I were going to gamble, I would say put your money on Gonzaga. You're not going to make as much money because they're a greater favorite against Creighton. It doesn't matter. For those of you that do like gambling, go ahead and just request me on Cameo and we'll talk about it. Hey.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
I got you. I just can tell you who I think is going to win or lose. Why don't they have something like that? It's like that game in Vegas where I can go red or black.
You can do that. You can gamble like that. You don't have to bet on the spread.
Yeah.
I'll teach you how to do that. Next time we're together, we'll get our cameos live from the bathroom, from the kitchen, wherever we are. We do not discriminate. And we will teach the viewers at home how to gamble, but with you as our subject. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, settle in because this is a day that Erin Andrews has waited 8 years for?
I'm so bad at math. Carry the 1.
Well, that would mean you were 12. So I think that, right? How old? Wait, no, you're 42?
Yeah, right. God, yeah. Whatever. Tom Brady's 43. He makes it look good.
Anyways, you've waited a long time for this day because, ladies and gentlemen, Erin gets to interview her adolescent crush, Jonathan Knight.
Step 5. Don't you know that the time has arrived?
Full disclosure, I was an NSYNC gal. I'm a few years behind you, but it doesn't mean that I don't have love and respect for New Kids on the Block. I know that you also had the bed, you had the comforter and the pillows. It was a whole thing. And like there's a jean jacket and buttons. Please, for those listening that aren't as familiar with New Kids, can you please explain what this whole deal was about and why was New Kids such a big deal?
I don't know. They were just I like the Monkees because they were on Nickelodeon. Obviously, that wasn't my generation. Davy Jones, so cute. Was he on the drums? I don't remember.
Remind me to tell you after you're done with this, a story about the Monkees. Okay, go.
I love that. So no, they just, they exploded on the scene in the 80s and the 90s, and that was my time, and I love them. My sister was a Donnie fan. I always loved John. And I had every Big Bopper magazine, every Star Beat, Tiger Beat. My walls were a mess. There was that moment where they said he was dating Tiffany. I was heartbroken. I was like, if he starts dating Debbie Gibson, I'm going to lose my mind. But I just love them. And then I got to go to my first concert. I think I was in 7th grade. My mom was a dream and allowed us to go. My dad didn't go that night. He probably enjoyed the off night, but Kendra and I went. We made huge glitter signs. I love John, Donnie, I love you, like things like that. And
what was it about John? What was because there's a lot to choose from.
Handsome. Yeah. Yes. He wasn't really like, the 3 stars were kind of like Donnie, his brother Jordan, and Joey. And John, I don't know. I loved him. I loved him. And he was so cute. And he had a dog named Nico. And I was
and
just
his favorite color was blue.
I don't remember.
Well, but, it seems like that's the only thing you don't remember about him.
Yeah.
So you loved him.
I was obsessed. Yep. It was a good time. But I used to look at our vacation videos, like the VHS tapes where my dad was taking, and like I would just ruin the whole vacation because I would just be like, are you going to let me go to the New Kids on the Block concert? Yes or no? Like I was just an asshole. So today is a big day. I have talked about him publicly before. And, there's been a random tweet there by me or by him, but this is the first time we have spoken and I am losing my mind.
I'm so excited. How are you feeling right now? I know that you were just talking to your other girl, Megan, and your sister and all the girls that like share this same enthusiasm, which of course I like New Kids on the Block, but I don't have the same enthusiasm that you do. So I feel bad. But what is this emotion that you're feeling right now? It's probably how most people feel before an interview with Tom Brady, or if they ever got a chance to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I literally, it's like a tight chest situation. My face feels hot. My husband came over before this to just see how I was, doing. And, he doesn't get it. So my girlfriend said, just pretend it's Shania Twain, Jarrett. Like, get it, go with the flow here. But yeah, like I'm Canadian. Good. I think it's like, honestly, it's like me sitting down with Larry Bird or me sitting down with anyone that I cheered for as a kid, Brett Favre. Like, this is my childhood. This is what I remember. This was like my happiness. I used to literally, this is embarrassing, get in fights with my dad that New Kids were way better than the Beatles. And he doesn't know what he's talking about because my dad was obsessed with the Beatles. I was an idiot, but I mean, it was a fun time for my sister and myself. My very first dance recital routine in jazz was To the Right Stuff. Dun, dun,
do you know, you're as a dancer, how many of the, and Kendra, your sister's also a dancer. Do you know all the dancers? I mean, it looks like you from the waist up, you still got it.
Yeah, hanging tough. Well, thanks. The waist down is always, my problem spot. But
stupid. Stand up and give us a little something. Now, for those of you at YouTube, on YouTube, bonus coverage. Well, yeah. I'm excited for you.
What were you? So you were in sync. Were you a Justin, a JC?
I was all Justin all day. Yeah. So, I mean, given that you guys have a very close relationship, I'm how you are going to be with Jonathan. That's how I would be with Justin. Did everyone follow along on a diorama? What was
Have you met JT?
I have, but like in a very like peripheral way. It was like in a group of, one of those where he would never remember me. But yeah, that's how I would feel. Yeah, big NSYNC fan. I went to an NSYNC concert with my girlfriend, Annie Brady and Allison Waite. And we drove down to Tacoma, which was like 2.5 hours away from Seattle. And we may or may not have been underage drinking. So then we had to spend the night, responsible because we are, in Annie Brady's red Jeep, in the back of the Jeep. And then our parents were all upset and then knew we were drinking, but then said you made a good choice. And all of that was because we were really excited to see NSYNC.
Favorite NSYNC song?
I mean, Bye Bye Bye. It was just
it's so good.
I mean, it still works. But my first ever, so New Kids was your first concert, right?
Yes.
My first concert was Brooks and Dunn.
Oh, good.
Wait for it. Guess who opened for them? This is how I'm dating myself now.
I don't even know.
Faith
Shut
Hill
up.
Was the opening act for Brooks and Dunn. I went with my friend Katie Cooper and I was so excited. I got to go to a concert. But yeah,
so she must have been just starting on the scene, right?
Oh,
what was her first? Hold on, it was not This Kiss.
No,
you break another little piece of my heart now, baby. Yeah. God, she was great. Faith, please come on the podcast. We die for you.
No, baby. And now I want to sing the whole song.
Dumb.
Oh God, she's so hot.
So hot. So that's a great concert. Who'd you go with?
My friend Katie Cooper. And why I'm having I'm going down memory lane with that whole thing is because that's right when she was getting together with Tim.
So cute.
And then that became a thing and dun dun dun. God, what a couple. So my love for Faith Hill, Justin Timberlake, Julia Roberts, those are all the same people that I can try to understand your emotion right now. So big day for you.
Huge.
We're going to interview Jonathan Knigh. We're also going to interview his wonderful co-host. Her name's Kristina Crestin. She is an interior designer and on the show with him that he's now on, which is called Farmhouse Fixer. If you guys haven't seen it, it's adorable and it's on HGTV. Talk about, the multiple lives of Jonathan Knigh.
Yeah.
He now is redoing old farmhouses. So it's super cool as someone, of course, who has an affinity for design. I can't wait to talk to them about those things and
I love
just
the
to
show.
See you happy.
I know. I love the show. I was watching it and it was kind of an interesting thing, my first crush. And I'm trying to watch it. And I watched it one night where Jarrett was gone. It's not like I felt like I was cheating on him or anything, but he was gone. He was working a game. And I was like, this is my time to go back to my 6th, 7th grade self and watch this Farmhouse Fixer with Jonathan and Kristina and be by myself with Howie and all that. So he came home and the new episode was out the other day, and I was watching it, and he walked in the door and he was asking me all these questions. He's like, "Is this your new kids guy?" I'm like, "Yes, this is him."
Does he realize how extensive the crush is? Sorry to interject.
He does. And that's why I feel like he was trying to get on my last nerve, because he was asking me all these questions. He's like, "Well, when's the interview?" And I said, "Well, it was this date, but then it got, moved over this day." Well, when? And I was like, I'm not, sorry to be rude, but would you like me to go upstairs? Because I'm trying to watch this and I'm trying to finish this, and you're asking me a lot of questions. And he's like, "Sorry." And I just felt like I was trying to have a minute, with Jonathan.
With your childhood crush, Jared. Hey, guess what, Jared?
I was asking.
You get my whole life. Take my whole life too. Isn't that a Faith Hill song? Somebody's song. You get the rest of your life with me. Can't you give me 2 hours to watch 2 episodes of Farmhouse Fixer? Is it too much to ask? Jared,
it's all I want. He gave it to me. He was very excited for today. Very excited.
He's so cute. I know that he was just calling you to make sure you were okay before this interview.
Yeah.
Oh, look, as somebody who makes a living interviewing people, you and I can really appreciate that this is like nerve-wracking for you. And I bet you that makes a lot of people listening feel better too, knowing that you still get nervous to interview people. So I'm very excited. You're the one that actually made this happen by sliding into DMs.
We'll get to that.
That used to be my move.
Oh, yeah.
Just kidding.
Can we get to it? I'm ready. Can we go talk to him now?
Without further ado, get the opening act, us, off the stage. The main event is here. Jonathan Knigh and Kristina Crestin coming up.
Listen up, everybody, if you want to take a chance. Just get on the floor and do the new kids dance.
It is the moment that Erin has waited for her entire life. It is a pleasure to be joined now with Jonathan. Call him whatever you want. John Knigh, he says. And Kristina Crestin, the stars, of course, of Farmhouse Fixer. I'm wearing my overalls. Erin is... this might be the first time I've heard Erin not say much because she's so nervous to be talking to you both. Erin?
So in your show, Farmhouse Fixer, which I die for, by the way, guys, John, when you were getting ready to paint the fireplace, the brick fireplace, or when Kristina recommended you paint the stairwell and you thought you were going to cry or crap your pants or freak out, like this is me right now. I was watching you do this and I was like, this is going to be me. This is going to be me on the podcast. I'm losing my mind. Thank you so much. I know that we've kind of talked over Twitter, Instagram, when I've dropped hints on Dancing with the Stars that, New Kids was my life growing up and you were my favorite. So, I'm freaking out. Thank you guys for making this wish come true.
Kristina, what was your reaction when you found out you were going to do a show with the Jonathan Knigh? We'll just talk about you like you weren't here, John.
Yeah.
Okay. So this guy, Jonathan, it was my first concert when I was 12. So we'll just couch this with
Okay.
My grandfather pulled some favors to get the tickets too. So it was a really big deal. But we met over an architecture project of his when I was a fresh out of college designer. So we've known each other for years at this point. So this isn't new, but when he popped up being there's this show, there's this thing, I'm like, okay.
I love it. Jonathan, Erin's reaction, Kristina's reaction, mine is one of many that you get. So I can't wait to get into some of the stories of fandom. I'm a huge fan as an aspiring designer of you, Kristina, and you, Jonathan, as well. This show is incredible for so many reasons. First of all, doing a little bit more research on you, Jonathan, aside from the obvious New Kids on the Block thing, that whole thing. That thing.
Jeez. Squash my childhood, Charissa.
I went to an NSYNC concert before I went to a New Kids on the Block concert. So, I'm just saying that. We're an equal opportunity band employer over here. But I wanted to get from you sort of when you knew that this is something that you wanted to do. You'd take an architecture class, right, at some point?
No.
Oh,
I went to art school, the Trotter, actually all the New Kids. It was an art school. But I think my love of it really just came from growing up in a really historic neighborhood.
Yeah.
My dad was a contractor. My mother, she loves old houses. And my mom would put me in the car and we would just drive around the neighborhood looking at all these cool old houses. And, it started at a really, really young age. And actually, it's funny because last night, me and my brother, my mother just dropped off all our childhood stuff. So we're going through it. And a lot of the drawings and a lot of the poems and stuff I did as kids, it referenced farms, tractors, all this stuff. And, you know, we had a really big lot in my hometown of Dorchester, and we had a barn out back. So at 12 years old, we had goats, we had chickens, pigeons, and even a pony. And we kept it just tied up to a tree on the front yard. my love of old houses and farming started at a very young age.
You live my dream life. A pony in the front yard.
Yes.
I'm like, where's a pony attached to a tree? Come on.
Yeah. He's sitting there telling stories about his childhood, and I'm sitting here going, I read that in the Big Bopper. I read that in Star Beat. I mean, I feel like I know your entire family. With the fangirling that's going on, and I was over your show too, it was great. I was even texting some of my girlfriends about your show. Who's crazier, the Kristina and the Erin Andrews of the world in their 40s of the fans, or were we crazier back in the day in the 80s and 90s?
Good question.
No,
thank you.
Definitely everybody's grown up. And I mean, actually, like, yeah, when we were kids, we couldn't go outside. We couldn't, you know, when I used to leave my house, my older brother would put me in the trunk of the car and drop me off at my friend's house just so people wouldn't follow us.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think now that we're all in our 40s and me almost 53, wow.
You look great.
What is your night cream? Because it's working.
You know, it's so nice now just to be able to, you know, associate with fans and really have a conversation and not just have them, you know, I want at you. So it's.
Can you imagine the fandom, obviously, that you went through, you know, coming up through this business, but there wasn't social media.
No.
There wasn't any of that. Like, I mean, I imagine that you have to sympathize to a certain degree with celebrities in this day and age. Kid stars.
I would never want to grow up as a celebrity in this age. I mean, I know the stuff that we were doing behind the scenes that New Kids fans didn't know about the media.
Okay,
like what,
do
John?
tell. Come on, John. We're in our 40s now. Let's go.
You know,
Give me a sliver.
Anything fun?
Good for you, though. You know what? Good for you for doing it all. Good for you.
We maintain that image. So.
Yeah, good for you.
We're keeping a fairy tale in the back.
Kristina and I are doing the opposite.
Know.
We're just obliterating any sort of image we had in people's minds.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's just you kids, young stars today, they can't go anywhere without being filmed or caught or being called out on stuff. And, you know, we were 18, 17, whatever. We were doing no different things than any 17 or 18-year-old was doing. So, you know, it's kind of sad that kids now have to live under an even greater microscope.
Yeah. Kristina, do you, after you're done like ripping out beams and flooring with this guy, do you guys toss back a couple cocktails and you're like, come on, just give me some juicy bits?
I don't know what's happening right now.
Okay,
I love you.
Are you having a cocktail? Because I'm about to get up and get one, if you are.
I'll share some show dirt.
I don't know what's coming, but I am drinking a dry rosé cider right now.
Feed him more, Kristina.
I loved her before she said that.
Yeah.
No, and we've had some moments like, you know, after filming, then we had a little downtime. We'd have a few glasses of wine and start filming again. And
oh my God, the scene that got cut last week. We had the best scene and we were so much fun. There might have been a vodka tonic involved beforehand.
My people.
We had a blast and they cut that scene. I'm like, were we too tipsy? Like, it was one drink. But it was a long, humid day. We were exhausted. We had fun. I'm going to say we sparkled on camera, but maybe not.
I love that. I'm all for the
slight
sparkle.
perspiration on the brow never hurt anybody. You guys, so Erin alluded to it. You know, John, you're all about keeping the integrity of the farmhouse, the infamous staircase. I love what you did with the cowbells, you know, a nod to what that farmhouse used to be. So how do you guys work in, you know, together in that, where it's like you want to keep the integrity, but obviously, Kristina, you want to bring in more of a modern design. You guys seem like you have a great relationship on and off camera. So how does that work?
I feel like the blue staircase is going to go down in infamy about like the grand debate, which it really was a grand debate. Like I think I told you for the first time about wanting to paint it blue, literally on camera. So that was a candid moment. I'm like, oh, I already picked blue, but for camera, I had to be like, I'm thinking blue. I love how they focused on that and made it dramatic.
We, when she was fresh out of college, I think I was 30, she was 20. And we started working on my house like 8 houses ago. And she pulled up to my house in this pickup truck. Kristina's what, 5'8"?
I'm 60 inches. Okay.
I love that.
That's adorable. So you're half
Running
a basketball
back.
hoop. Got it. You're almost there.
So she jumped out of this big pickup truck and just was this ball of energy and was not afraid to, create these ideas that I wanted in my house. Like, she didn't look at me like I was crazy. She was like, okay, I'll figure it out. So
you want ebony floors that are glossy? Sure, that's not going to show up.
Exactly.
So you guys have had a relation. You guys go back a long ways then.
2000.
We were trying to figure this out. Maybe 2003.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I think just about as long as I go back with my husband.
Well, both relationships seem to be thriving.
Thriving.
At his house too, but he was not my husband then, right? So
I will also commend my wonderful co-host and great friend. Erin is really holding back all the questions she really has for you, Jonathan.
I know.
She's
It's
trying to be
fine.
professional.
Mm-hmm.
But come on, E, here's your chance. She's been by the way, you should see the text chain that we have with our wonderful producer and all of our guys on this podcast. She was like losing her mind when we were about to come on.
It's like a
So
Tom
now
Brady
she's-
moment for me. Sorry, TB. I love you. But I mean, I just said, you guys think I get nervous with Tom. Like, I'm losing it. Look, I was trying to find a way to weave in my last question that I had about new kids. I mean, I have 7,000, but this is the only one I had. I can't even decorate a console for the life of me. And now I'll transition to this one. Just, you guys talked about social media and that you don't get DMs or the tweets and all that stuff, even though I did DM you. My husband knows. What was it like back in the day getting the girls backstage? Was it really what I dreamt about in, 7th grade when my mom took me and we were in 11th row and I had a poster for you? Was it like Biscuit sees you and points at you and brings you backstage? Or like, how did it go down? Because Charissa and I know how, people do it now with the old DMs and the tweets and all that business. But come on, how did chicks get backstage?
A lot of it was like radio contest winners or
I tried.
Whoever knew somebody. Yeah.
Erin just said I tried.
I
Did you call in? You probably would.
But Erin, the good thing is now you have all access backstage anytime you want. 'Cause now you have my information and you could just call
I did.
me. Like,
I do.
I'm coming to the concert tonight with 8 of my girlfriends.
So, side note,
Yeah.
Kristina, I slipped into his DMs. I was like, I knew your show was on. I follow you on Instagram. Obviously, through Dancing with the Stars, we've talked and so forth. And I was like, I want to see if he can come on. So I just said to Chris and my husband, I'm going to send a DM. Like, I'm going to do what these crazy broads do. Like, I'm sending it. You were so lovely. Fangirl, you wrote back. My sister, who was a Donnie girl, died. And I was like, I can't write him back right away. Like, it's been 5 days. And she's like, what? This isn't like How to Lose a Guy. Like, come on, you got to. And I'm like, no, Charissa, this is like when you had the opportunity to interview Larry Bird and Michael Jordan at the same time and you didn't. I couldn't text or email John right away. I needed a minute.
She did. She needed a lot of minutes.
Yeah.
But that's the
Anywho.
reaction that you get from a lot of people. When you look back again, I think you said, maybe I was reading the wrong Architectural Digest article, but I thought it was around, you said like age 25 that you were like, all right, what am I going to do next? And you mentioned like you'd always had a love, from your childhood and the pony in the front yard. But what was that turning point then for you at 25? Because watching this show and as someone who aspires to be what Kristina is, you can't just go in and understand the workings of a house and the structural engineering and when you rip up that floor, if you find a well, what that's going to mean. You mentioned your dad was a contractor, but when did this really become like a trade for you?
Well, it started, first of all, because I lost the job. I was no longer with New Kids. I was 25, freaking out, not knowing like, what is my next move? Just felt really washed up and just, it was,
You weren't.
it was a bad time. So I just, spent a couple months in bed, cried a lot, and, kept the shade down and was like, what am I going to do with my life?
The drama you're creating.
Yeah,
right now.
it was pretty dramatic.
That's the
And
rose.
then, a friend of mine asked me to flip a house. And I was like, flip a house? Like, I thought that we were going to go rob the joint or like, turn it over. So he asked me to come flip a house with him, and I started it and loved it, and always had that passion, and it takes a team of people. There's you were talking about engineering, and this one right here has been like the best work partner ever because the design she comes up with, and we have such similar taste that I love just letting her run with it and she not telling me. So when I walk into the properties a lot of the times, I'm like the homeowner and I'm just like, wow.
So when he walks in is really what I'm waiting for versus the reveal. Like I just wait. I'm like, he's going to cry. He's going to cry. Is he going to cry? Is he gonna cry? Like,
After you've accessorized it and everything, Kristina, that's when he gets emotional or what?
Yeah, because I mean, we, obviously we're seeing it when it's empty.
Yeah.
Like there's obviously, some things are not like TV. There's an entire team that has to like pull that together. And he pops in that day. And it's always like everyone kind of stops and they're like, wait for it, wait for it. He just walks around all quiet and starts crying. And it makes my heart, I'm like, I'm done. I don't need the homeowner reveal.
Aww. So are the nerves greater the day before the big reveal or the nerves like on stage? Like how do you compare the nerves? Because again, you're beholden to the homeowners too. You want to make sure that they love it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think, the homeowners thing is way more nerve wracking. We are always at the front door, like peeking out. And we're like, what are they going to think? What are they going to think?
Yeah.
The new
more nerve wracking than being on stage?
Yes, because we have the show all planned out. We rehearse it. We do,
that's fair.
We do dress rehearsals. So we know if it's good or if it's bad, if it needs a tweak, where the homeowners, we don't know what they're going to think.
They walk out of a car and you're like, ooh, they were not expecting that house paint color. It's not that episode yet. It's coming. We promise.
Ooh,
I saw the one with they were at the farmer's market. I'm not going to lie. I upgraded my Hulu subscription so I could try to watch all of them. Only 2 were available. But that's what I was going to ask. Is there anything, and I'm not trying to rat anybody's house out, but I saw the one where there was a well underneath and, you were showing like the crack in some sort of foundation. I'm so ignorant right now talking about this. What are we missing? What's the worst? And it may not even be for Farmhouse Fixer. Is there something that you guys have walked into and been like, oh boy?
The foundation one where we had to take the whole connector down but didn't think so. I mean, that's pretty that's epic. Like,
is that the one with the chicken? House in the wallpaper? So great.
John painted the ceiling deal. Like, did you see my face in that one? That was for real. They would not let me in there. And then I watched it on TV and I'm like, oh, my face was like, I don't know. Like,
I love it. Well, John, it seems like you're living your dream. I mean, both of you. I mean, you're reunited after, years apart. You're able to work on this incredible project together. I may or may not be wearing overalls to, show you that I'm like a farmhouse kind of gal. Because everybody would want to be a part of your show. Everybody would want to be, a part of your inner circle. So it kind of feels like, John, you're living your dream life where you still get to tour. You still get to be a part of, what is so much the fabric of your life. But in addition to that, you get to do what you've always dreamed of in the other sector, which is the home renovations.
Yeah, it's the best. I mean, I have been the luckiest person in the world just to be able to, do 2 things that I love so much. And it's
stressful though. Come on.
It's stressful, but it's more than a job to me now. So it's fun. We have so much fun on set. We have so much fun filming the show. We still like every night we call each other after the episode. And we're like, that really just happens. We are on HGTV.
I saw my face like went upstairs to bed last night and was left on HGTV. And I'm like, oh my God, we were just in a chicken coop. That was my face. Like, I mean, I'm used to this stuff. And I did like 1 season of This Old House. So I did a little bit of TV. But like, this is like,
Yeah. Do you?
Weird. It's so
Yeah,
weird.
that's a great point, Kristina. So it's like he's used to seeing his face on TV or T-shirts or on a poster in Erin's childhood bedroom.
I had the pillows too.
Did you? You had the whole comforter set?
Yeah, it's a whole story. If I did my
tell it.
medicine
There's no
on
better
my
time than
fingers,
now.
Well, I'll just be honest. I ruined a lot of vacations with my family. We have like VHSs where all my dad's like, "Hey, smile, we're at this great vacation, that my parents saved up for." And I'm like, "Am I going to get to go to the New Kids on the Block concert or not?" Like I wanted to smack myself. I was so gross. But the whole deal was, this is disgusting, and I'll just put it out there. I had like these planner's warts on my fingers growing up. It was like a weird, gross thing. But my mom was like, if you put the stinging stuff on, we'll get you great New Kids tickets. Changed my world. It was the best night of my life.
Well, for those of you guys listening that haven't seen the show, it's incredible. It's called Farmhouse Fixer. You guys are great. Erin, sister, before they have to get back to their day jobs, what else you got? This is your chance.
Do you guys like football? Do you want to, when we're allowed to have fans, do you want to come to a game and be on the sidelines with me and like we could be best friends or something? Do you like, I mean, I know like the New Kids love, like obviously you guys love, I was raised in New England, but the Celtics, are you Pats fans? What are you guys over there?
My mom, if I could bring my mom as a guest, because she would lose her mind. She is the biggest fan on.
Wait, Kristina, that's exactly what I wanted to ask you. Is that the nifty writing of the HGTV when they're like step by step, or didn't I blow your mind? Like, or is that you just being fabulous and so fun and giving us a shout out there?
I'm not that smart. It's like, did you see my face though in the first one? Because you could tell I was like, oh, I gotta get this in. I gotta get this in. I'm like, I'm not a good actor.
It did start though organically when we would be working. One of the painters would be painting, and then they would be like step by step. We're getting through it step by step. And
we have this young muralist. Oh, the last episode, she's too young to know.
No idea.
We were literally filming, and she's like, I just took it step by step. And we're all like, lost our minds, being like, was this a plan? I don't know. And she had no idea what was going on. She's like, what? It was so adorable.
Before we let you guys go, I want to know, Jonathan, your favorite time from New Kids on the Block and your favorite time thus far on Farmhouse Fixer?
My favorite time with New Kids on the Block has been since we reunited in 2008. It's just been a dream. It's been relaxing. We were young kids back then. We got in a lot of fights. We had a lot of disagreements. We were under a lot of pressure. And now it's just the best thing ever to be around those guys. We group text each other every day. And, actually today the group text was all about the show airing tonight. And they were like, we love this show. Congrats. We are so good together. And, this is just this new venture that me and Kristina are going on. It's
love it.
I never thought I would be, 52 years old and still going strong with a career in, New Kids, and then taking this whole love of old houses and pretty much starting a new career.
And having a 60-year-old girl telling you like to paint a staircase blue.
Yeah.
Around. Carries paint chips like nobody's business.
I know. We'll get into a whole story about paint chips, and my husband is at Chris and knows. So OC, when I saw you guys paint that, I was like, oh God, the vacuum cleaner is going to cause paint chips.
Well, cheers to you for reinvention. I mean, look, if you're lucky in life to get the story that you've had, and now, like the houses that you redo, get to fix them up and keep them living on for the next generation and the next generations. Kudos to both of you, and a renewed relationship for you guys too. How much fun.
Hopefully another season.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if we have anything to say about it, there will be. And again, if you need an intern, I'll bring the overalls.
Okay.
And you're coming to a football game. Should we have him do a calm down award? We have to.
Absolutely. So we do a little thing on this show. It's a calm down award. Again, the impetus of our name for the podcast was because we need to tell ourselves sometimes to bring it down a notch. So
i.e. when you came on.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe Erin should give herself the calm down award for her fandom for you. But it can go to anyone, anything. It can be whatever you want it to be. And we're putting you on the spot here. So if you need a second, take all the time you need. But who or what needs to calm down?
Oh boy.
Oh, Oh, I have an answer for I need to calm down. All I'm worried about is the 1,000 emails deep I am and all the spreadsheets I need to do.
Yep.
I feel like you probably, I like spreadsheets too much. Like, I'm always like, hey, do you want to come over and see where we're at? And I have this 100-page PowerPoint. And I just like, so I feel like he needs to tell me to calm down.
She does.
I like organization.
That's not a bad thing.
No.
Wow. There's like,
Kevin Hart was saying people are just taking
myself.
everything too seriously. And he was like, people just need to calm down.
yeah. I mean, I think the world's a little crazy right now. I think the world needs to calm down and stop taking everything so crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you have a favorite? Wait, hold on. I'm going to take a side detour here to bring us back. Do you have a favorite song of yours from New Kids? Obviously.
No, I have no. I mean,
What do you mean? Come on.
I don't. They're all so unique. It's just like people ask me, do I have a favorite style house? And
I love that analogy.
I
It's so
don't.
specific to
It's
you.
just
Christina, what's your favorite New Kid song?
on the spot.
I don't know. Like I have a small admit that my favorite band of all time is actually Metallica. And it really, like, I know.
What a pivot.
That's quite the departure from New Kids.
I did that video in my barn the other week and I had Metallica shirt on and I was waiting for a producer who gives me so much shit about it to like,
Who knew?
Like all-time fan. Like I'll travel to go see. But nobody picked up on it except for my friends. I was like, damn it, I wore it for Reese.
The reason I bring it up is because when in doubt, the world needs to just throw on any New Kids on the Block song, dance around your house like Erin does, and just calm down, right?
I'm going to be listening to Tonight. Chris and I are meeting for some social distance drinks, and I'm going to be listening to Tonight, and I'll probably start crying. I'm so excited.
Well,
thank you for making all my dreams come true. And thank you for giving me such a fabulous time in my childhood. Like, it was so much fun. I loved you guys so much. When you are back touring, I am coming. And then you guys come to a Pats game or whatever. We'll figure it out.
All right.
I see a trade here she's making.
You can get a season's pass with how much she loves you. You guys, thank you so much. Reminder again, the show is Farmhouse Fixer. Kristina, Jonathan, thank you so much for your time. And the show is awesome. And you both deserve all the success that follows.
Thank you.
Thanks, y'all.
Bye.
Well, Erin, was it everything you wanted and more?
He was sweet. Wasn't he sweet?
So sweet. And
He was
look,
sweet.
I'm clearly not the same fan that you are. And that was nothing against New Kids on the Block. I was an NSYNC girl. But I am a huge fan of the both of them. They couldn't have been lovelier. And I'm so excited for them that they are, having success in this, incredible show. And for you, just to live out your childhood dream. If I told, what was the age that your fandom was at its highest, aside from today?
6th, 7th, 8th. I have a condition where I hold everything in awkward and I then turn into a heat rash. It turns into a heat rash on my neck, on my chest, on my back. And for
Is that
all of you
happening
looking
now?
at our YouTube channel, we will show pictures on our IG. Yep. Nice little red. It looks like a burn. So it was awesome.
So,
yes. 5th, 6th grade. You were right. I was very quiet. I was very, very nervous. His hair was phenomenal. Again, for everybody, got to check it out on YouTube. His hair, his skin, he looks great.
I was going to say, if you could go back and tell 6th, 7th, 8th grade Erin that you're going to eventually interview Jonathan Knigh, what would your reaction be?
It would probably be some smart ass comment. And then I would also tell the 6th, 7th, 8th grade self, stop ruining your family's vacation. Your mom will make your dreams come true and allow you to go to the concert. Stop being an asshole. Respect your parents and stop it. But, he was great. There's always, and then we run into this with sports, right? And guys that we interview and we want them to be exactly what, we hope that they are. And he was so lovely. I couldn't be happier.
I love that for you. I love that you got, so obviously you've interviewed, an innumerable amount of people that most people just wish they even saw in a grocery store, but you've sat down, interviewed them multiple times, the Tom Brady's, the Drew Breeses, all these guys. I mean, even on Dancing with the Stars,
Big
all the
Papi.
celebrities. Yeah, exactly. All of those guys. So it's kind of interesting to hear you almost become that little kid again, where you like get nervous to interview someone because your profession is to interview people. But it just goes to show, stars are just like us, Erin. There you go on the Us Weekly.
He looked great. Yeah, I was talking to my girlfriend Megan right before we recorded this, and she was living her best life through me and said, "Call me immediately when you are finished." Like, and I felt like a cheese dog, like telling him at the end, cheese dog? Do people say that? But I did by just saying like, thank you for my childhood. But it was like, so nice. Oh,
sweet.
and then this too, when we were kind of asking for the dirt, and he was like, that's the one thing, new kids, we kind of feel like we are just trying to stay respectful and not get all the, the gossip out there. I mean, I kind of wanted a sliver of it, but, and that's a lie. Don't tell me that all just the backstage was just radio winners. No way.
No way, Jose.
But I love how they kept it very tight-lipped.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of clubhouse rules right there. What's in the locker room stays in the locker room. That's not really what happens anymore.
Not all people are like that, though.
No, not anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, remember even I'll go on a tangent about that when like Jose Canseco like wrote his whole book about juice and like started revealing secrets. Like there's a code. Yeah. So good for him that he stays true to his code. And what I thought was so sweet is that they still have a text chain all this many years later and like talk regularly. And it's nice. It's nice to see that, to your point, what they were in your mind is what they still are.
And how bad did I want to say, like if you ever want to add me, but I didn't text him. I only emailed him. I do have the digits.
I know.
So,
and now you got to follow through with your promise to take both him and Kristina and Kristina's mom to a game.
I'll take Kristina's uncle. I don't care. Like as long as I can get John there. It's,
Who else would be on your list? Your wish list of people to interview. Who else is on that list? Because where is he slotted in that?
So I have my list,
ranking.
Right? It's the Big Poppies, the Larry Birds, the Kevin McHale's, who was my first sports crush, Casey Jones, R.I.P., Marty St. Louis, one of my favorite hockey players, except for my husband. John Knight is pretty much up there. I mean, Chris Hemsworth is nothing to sneeze at, so he's great. But
true.
We are slowly but surely making dreams come true. Okay, go females. Julia. I mean, I die. Julia.
Mario always got to interview Julia Roberts, and I was so angry. I know. I would have loved, and she loved Mario, so there was no convincing her otherwise.
No, you're screwed.
I know. Like Meryl Streep was mine. And when I sat down and it was in one of those junket situations, so those are always way more awkward than on a red carpet because you don't have the ambient noise of the red carpet and all the people. You walk into that room, you've been on the receiving end of that, where you walk in and there's just the publicist and the camera guy and the audio person, and they're quick to be like, 2 minutes. And you're like, okay, it's going to take me 2 minutes to calm the fuck down because it's Meryl Streep and I'm peeing myself. And she couldn't have been lovelier. So I can only imagine how you felt. I'm glad you made it through. Now we're going to go celebrate with some cocktails because this was a big day for you, babe.
I know. I got to call my sister. I got to call my girlfriend, Megan.
I got so many calls.
Who's your list? What's your list of people?
Oh, well, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, you alluded to it. Yeah, those are up there. But I mean, look, the list goes on and on and on, Julia. But today's your day, Erin. So enough about me.
Thank you.
It's you and Jonathan sitting in a tree, KISSING. So we will let you go make all your phone calls. I will get in the car. No, I will get in an Uber.
Yes, smart.
Or a Lyft or any rideshare program that wants to advertise on Calm Down Podcasts. And I will get in an Uber or whatever and come down and see you, and we will celebrate with cocktails. For those of you listening or watching on YouTube, thank you for joining us in a big day in Erin Andrews' life, one she will never soon forget.
But I guess it's a brand new day after all. Every time we hear the curtain call, see the girls with the curls in the hair. Boom, 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 boom. The buttons and the pins and the loud fanfare. Calm Down with Erin and Charissa is a production of iHeartRadio.
For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.